Hello, 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 and welcome to episode 399 of Cincinnati Soccer Talk. This is your host, Brian Weigel, joining everybody for a very fun and festive, undefeated week of FC Cincinnati football. Very excited to be joined with a great cast and crew of characters, as well as one of those newer voices that you might have seen heard last week. So without further ado, let's welcome in Justin Blair. How you doing, Justin?
Doing great, man. Got a lot of content we're building at Cincinnati Soccer Talk, and I tell you what, I am knee deep in the scheduling updates right now. So I am I'm glad that you had me on so I can look at something other than a spreadsheet for a few days.
I am living on the spreadsheet mode right now. Cardinal Premier League just came out, and we are fully deep diving into the schedule. And while we don't get to travel like to Louisville or Lexington or any of those places that you like, Justin, we do get to go to the metropolis of Batesville, Indiana this year.
There you go.
Very
Batesville.
excited.
Where's it at, man?
There you go. Soccer hotbed. Also, very happy to bring on another friend here. We got Jeremy Lance, and he's repping his Calgary Flames hat, talking about Cincinnati hockey talk last week.
Yeah, I had told Nick that I would come on and wear this next time, so I'm a man of my word. Mr. Weigel, am I going to see you and your team at the tournament in Fairfield? Every club in this city goes to.
We will be at Mask. We are a very young club. We traditionally don't do more than one tournament per season, but we decided to jump out of the box and go support my buddy Brandon Robson down at Fairfield Optimist at Mass. So I'm excited to check that out in early April.
I'll see you there.
Yeah. All right. We got, as I said, a newer voice of the show, Nick Morgan, making his second appearance on CST and his first, I guess, quote unquote, live show. How you doing, bud?
Yeah. How's it going, guys? Doing good. It was a blast to be on last week. And Jeremy, I want to thank you for following up on the hockey talk, because it's good to have another hockey person up in here. It's a little bit of a desert here in Cincinnati outside the Cyclones. So I love seeing the NHL. I love seeing the NHL being repped. Wish it wasn't the Flames, but we'll get you Nashville Predators colors here shortly.
I'll die before I do that.
Nashville Predators. I don't know if you guys have heard this, Nick, especially. So I'm in northern Cincinnati in Liberty Township, but just a little bit, I think 3 exits north of us, they're building a new convention center / arena, and they are trying to bring another minor league hockey team into the Cincinnati metro area. So I'm excited to check that out.
Like Butler County?
It's north, I think it's south of Franklin, maybe, but north of Monroe. I can't remember what exit it is.
County or
County? Something like that, maybe. I don't know exactly, but I'm just gonna say it right now. Cyclones better be worried. They're gonna take all the Hamiltuckians over there. I mean, that's going to kill the Cyclones attendance.
I don't know. Unless they drop like a 75-cent beer night, I think the Cyclones are okay on attendance for a while.
Oh, shoot. No, I love it. I love it. Well, guys, we normally do best and worst to start this show, but I think we need to make a special accommodation. We're going to do a trifecta, best of the best of the best of the best, or whatever you call that, 4 of them. Best of the best of the best of the best. Justin Blair, you got a little surprise up your sleeve, a little sweet, salty treat, you might say.
Went out to the local Kroger store and picked up one of these Greater Skyline chilies. See what the hype was all about, man.
So can you read to us what is on the front of that Greater Skyline chili ice cream that you're about to bestow on us at Cincinnati Soccer Talk?
Skyline spice flavored with oh my goodness, oyster crackers.
Yeah, it's got oyster crackers in it. I read that.
Well, really?
I'm more terrified. I see all these beautiful social media posts and stuff like that didn't mention the back of the thing. I'm getting a whopping
1,200 calories.
I eat
mean,
this whole pint.
It's ice cream. I don't know if you've looked at ice cream lately. They're not.
No, I don't.
Yeah.
They're not.
Okay,
they're,
you're not going to down the whole thing in one sitting right now, are you?
I might. I didn't bring my drink with me. So
We have what, about an hour on this live show? I mean, you can make a good dent in that.
So here's
okay,
my
that
question.
is not the color I expected that to be
What
at
is that?
all.
No, neither.
it's kind of it's like a beige kind of color.
That's a much more appealing color than what I had kind of thought was going to come out of that thing when you opened it.
Were you thinking chili color?
I was thinking it was going to look like the chili, like frozen chili.
Just oyster crackers floating around.
It's the whole thing.
Yeah, you need to make sure you get a nice oyster cracker in your soup.
I do love this thought of this ice cream. So Cincinnati spice, you got cinnamon, you got maybe some chocolate. I don't know. But here's the thing. You're getting your daily helping of carbs in that meal as well, in that ice cream.
Gosh, yes.
Might as well just put noodles. All right, here he goes. Let's see. He's if you're watching, he's got his spoon. He's got a nice healthy.
Wish me luck. This is
Has anyone ever barfed on this show?
Lexingtonian.
Maybe
trying to eat one of these Skyline ice creams.
Soups, probably. Episode 399, Skyline Chili ice cream trying time. His eyes are revolving into the back of his head. He's going to lose or gain a lot of street cred on this.
He's really good. I mean, I've never seen someone chew ice cream as much as you are right now.
I got the full oyster cracker in there.
Sure.
You got the full oyster cracker. Here's a mistake.
Weird. That is a weird taste. It does not taste like Skyline, in my opinion.
What does it taste like?
It tastes almost like carrot cake.
I wouldn't know. I'm allergic to tree nuts, so elaborate on that.
It is like
cinnamon,
like almost like a cinnamon, like the nutmeg. I think is what it is.
Okay,
that's coming through hard, but it is actually pretty good. I'm not a big fan of the oyster cracker though. Like I don't want the
it's not really bringing a whole lot of flavor, is it?
Is it crunchy? Is it crunchy or is it like slimy?
Yeah, it's crunchy. It's crunchy, but it's that still crunchy, right?
Sure.
So it's got less of it's got more rebound than just crunching down into it.
He only.
I mean, could you sit there and eat a whole cup or bowl of it?
I would, because I literally cannot get past the carrot cake taste. Like it tastes like carrot cake. I don't know if I got a weird batch.
And for you, that's a good thing. For you,
that is a great thing.
Okay.
I love carrot cake, so that is. But I also brought.
Oh my God, hot sauce! Skyline. He's holding up Skyline chili hot sauce. Is he gonna do this? He's gonna do this. He's gonna eat Skyline chili ice cream with Skyline chili hot sauce.
You gotta get an oyster in there, cracker. Right.
So while Justin's doing this, I'm gonna ask Jeremy and Nick a quick question. The traditional like Cincinnati dish at FCC games is the Sky Rosa Skyline chili cheese coney on top of it.
Yes, sir.
Pizza, but there's also talk of a Busk Boy, a Buskin donut, on a Frisch's Big Boy. Is there a way to integrate this Skyline chili ice cream, do you think? Think about that and let's let Justin try it. Okay, here's the vomit coming. Oh my God.
Vomit.
That wasn't a light load of hot sauce either.
Yeah, you got went for it on the hot sauce.
Proud of him.
That sucks. That part.
Okay.
That is not good. Not at all good.
I'll eat hot sauce on anything too.
That I know. Yeah, seriously.
I don't know what I was expecting.
Yeah, I am no coward for hot sauce, but that is not good.
Our very first for me. Our very own Brian Bebach is throwing up the laugh emojis in the chat this evening. Oh shoot, that is so freaking hilarious. Props to you, Justin.
Okay, now go get the shredded cheese.
Oh my God!
And let's
throw the onion on there.
Yeah, diced onions.
I can go crack a can of beans up there too.
Oh my God!
There you go. Get little beans in your ice cream.
5-way.
I do think that it would be a very smart marketing play for FCC. Maybe not doing the Busk Boy, the Frisch's hamburger on the Buskin whatever cookie, but maybe doing like a Buskin cookie with this on top and make an ice cream sandwich. Maybe that could be interesting.
Or just two
$14 for that.
Yeah,
that's genius.
I know it's all about the Cincinnati things, but if we could get an item that incorporates like that Korean street hot dog or something from that Korean place at the stadium.
Really?
Yeah.
That would be good because that place is my favorite
That is
food.
fire. Yeah.
Where's that
those-
located on the concourse?
It's right behind the
It's
Bailey.
where where the Heineken thing is. It's just to the
Okay.
left of that.
As you can tell, I'm on the opposite side of the stadium. So
Generally,
we
so
go to
am I,
Gomez.
so it
we go to
is a bit of a
Gomez.
walk.
Got it. My kids are very much into the let's just get Sour Patch Kids and go from there. My daughter is the champion of the $12 cotton candy.
It's
Gotta
a good
love it.
price for
That
that.
is a good move. Yeah.
It's freaking ridiculous. Love it. All right. Well, that might have come into the top 10 moments in history of Cincinnati Soccer Talk. Oh, I love this recommendation. Jeff Tebbets, throw a little Grippos on top there. That would be.
I got none. I had Pringles barbecue chips, but not Grippos.
So I
Let me
challenge.
down.
Garbage.
Yeah.
I challenge any FC Cincinnati staff member, Jeff Birdie, whoever is watching, listening to this show, invite Justin Blair to the menu tasting right before the first game of the season, and maybe figure out a way to work this Cincinnati style ice cream in. I'd love to.
I don't know
love to see
if
that
it
out.
sucks. He's definitely going to tell you about it though.
All right, that was a dream right there, everybody. Well, again, as I said, episode 399 of Cincinnati Soccer Talk. We couldn't do all these great episodes without the help of our great sponsors, Apollo Home. Temps have plummeted. Well, maybe we might be getting a reprieve here, but we warned you all year long to keep things cozy with Apollo Home. Peace of mind is worth the $29 tune-up. Get our great sponsor on your schedule soon. Visit ApolloHome.com today to get your HVAC ready for the spring.
I mean, your furnace, Jeff, definitely was putting in a shift over the past week or so. So
Oh
you
my
probably
God.
need to.
It is very, very cool, but I am very excited. I know Grayson's father does, I think, Southwest weather or something, and he was talking about some good temps coming up here soon. Getting outside. Real quick as well, again, if you have the ability to this weekend, join us at Grainworks Brewery in Westchester on this Saturday, February 1st, for Norden's 4th annual scarf release party. This very family-friendly event, and I mean family-friendly. My kids are there. It's a great environment. We'll feature appearances by Gary the Winged Lion, several, I think 4 former FC Cincinnati players, Corbin Bone, Omar Cummings, Manu Ledesma, and Jimmy McLaughlin. The FCC Street team will be there. Live music from Bofus, silent auction, raffle, and more. Of course, there's food from Mama Bear's mac and cheese. And for the kids, they have some great root beer on tap. The event starts at 4 with the CST Live Show starting at 5:30. This is absolutely one of my favorite events of the year, so be there this Saturday, February 1st. Side note, this will be episode 400 of CST. Very excited for that, but also my last show for CST. So go out and say hi. I'd love to see all you guys one last time. All right, y'all. Now we got the sappy stuff out of the way. Lucho Acosta's back. He's here. He got his haircut down in Florida. For some reason, he had to post that on social media. Jeremy, he's here for the long haul, 2026 and beyond, right?
Sure. I mean, that's what I'm telling myself, but I also like to lie to myself. So it's, I'm so torn with this situation because part of me is excited, but part of me knows that really what is more likely to happen is the thing I've been dreading the most, which is this saga dragging out into preseason and now probably even the season. And is it one of those situations where it's, oh, sorry, Lucho, we couldn't make, we didn't have a right buyer for you or move for you. So maybe in the summer, and then he kind of is here and not here. Remember when Brenner did that? He was kind of sort of on the team there for like half a season. I don't want that. This is why this should have been sorted a while ago. Or you just put your foot down and say, hey, either you can walk and let us, whatever, or suit up, you're playing.
Yeah, I mean, to Jeremy's point, I don't really think we know how this resolved. or if this is resolved at this point. I mean, we can go into the whole TMZ speculation angle and be like, hey, his family's here. That means he's here for the long haul. But I don't think anybody other than Lucho Acosta or Pat Noonan / Chris Albright are going to comment on anything long-term like that. But I think the question I ask is, what Lucho Acosta are we going to have in camp right now? Are we going to have the MVP candidate that, reps the FCC crest every time he scores a goal and, points to the camera and says, this is my city? Or are we going to get somebody who at the end of last season clearly said, this is for maybe my last game, I don't really want to be here? Somebody who's been linked to, clubs in South America all year? Because if that's the Lucho we're going to get, if we're just going to get a Lucho that's, hanging out until the summer transfer window comes out and they can straighten out this situation and get into a team that he wants to be at, then yeah, maybe it's not as celebratory thing that he's back. If it is a situation in which, maybe whatever issues he was having is resolved, maybe he had a change of heart, wants to stay in FCC for at least one more MLS season, hey, awesome. I'll gladly take an MLS MVP as the 10 of our team. I just think it's one of those things, to Jeremy's point, it just doesn't feel resolved at this point. And I think it's going to take maybe some more, I guess, digging or waiting and seeing as we get into the season to see what situation we have on our hands here.
I don't know about you, Justin. I know you work for a larger company in the greater Cincinnati area. How many of your friends asked you today or the past couple of days, hey, Lucho's back, right?
Yeah. It was a common talking point. For me, I have no doubt that Lucho comes into it with the right mindset, right? I mean, business aside, Lucho is a competitor at heart. So when Lucho laces it up, Lucho's going to go for the win, no matter what situation. I mean, we've seen it countless times in what people throw away U.S. Open Cup matches. It's hard to get the guy off the field, so I have no doubt when the lights come on, Lucho's going to be Lucho, right? But yeah, it just you kind of have that like pullback moment, right? Like you're excited Lucho's back, but it's also like, okay, so like what happened and how long is this going to happen? So I've tried to caution a lot of my buddies at work and beyond. Maybe this isn't permanent, but I'm sure as heck like Jeremy and Nick and just going to be excited that he's here for the time being.
I can see him being dialed in on the field in matches, but I still think you possibly have a very butthurt team captain skulking around the training facility and the locker room, and that's not good. That's not. We talked about last week about the potential signing of the current DP in Portland, and I said I don't want Evander because I think the vibes are bad. We can't have Lucho being the bad vibes guy, and that could be a real problem if you have somebody who is that butthurt or just in a situation off the field where he's just not, and maybe that's kind of what we had at certain points last season. Exactly. And it sort of did show.
Yeah.
But that doesn't help the overall situation of the club if you have somebody like that is clearly wanting out and is someone that is that critical and pivotal to the team currently.
I think I would be concerned if we didn't have voices like Matt Miazga and Nick Hagelin in the locker room, right? You have the ultra positive and you have the ultra like competitive personalities that are going to kind of domineer. And I think they have been. I think that was kind of our problem in 2022, right? We didn't really have that great of leaders. Like Jeff Cameron, I think, was wearing the armband several times during that season. No disrespect to Jeff, but you would imagine some of your top DP players like being those kind of vocal leaders. And I think that, when Matt Miazga came in, it really shifted the mindset, the mentality of the team to go for the kill. So I I think if those players weren't on those, training facilities and they're in the locker room, then I would be concerned.
Just as some notes for Luciano Acosta, he has been linked to several clubs. Corinthians is the big one. Estudiantes is the latest flavor of the week. That is owned by Foster Gillette of the Gillette family, American-owned club, splashing the cash. So that's certainly a possibility. One note for Lucho is he actually was loaned there for a season, I guess following his time at Boca and then prior to DC United. So he maybe have some history there. We shall see what happens with the Luciano, but I don't know about you guys. It wouldn't shock me one bit if he doesn't play and he would purposefully sit out with this season. I mean, you have to make a statement if you're him, I think. But the season, the calendar is still open through, I guess, early or late February in Brazil and early February. March for Argentina. So there's time.
What's the line? You either die a hero or live long enough to become the villain.
Yeah.
Okay. So
we've moved into that territory. We're walking that out.
Follow up to that comment, Jeremy. Laurel put out a piece this past week that commented that Lucho was open to a trade within Major League Soccer.
Yeah.
Oh, which is totally makes sense for a guy who desperately needed to be back in Argentina with family.
Wild stuff.
Yeah. Get ready to learn FC Dallas, buddy.
Yeah. Speaking of playing with divas, it is official. Alvaro Barreal is transferred, or I guess loaned to Santos in Brazil. As part of that deal, he does have a contract option added to the back end of his contract. I heard he also had I think through Laurel's podcast that he increased his wage bill. Santos is taking all of those wages. Who's going to be tuning in for that first game to see Alvaro Barreal tee it up for Neymar?
With Neymar? Yeah.
Yeah.
He's going to be teeing up with Neymar. I'm definitely watching.
Yeah.
I thought of this move in this context, even if he doesn't hit his 65% playing or games featured to get his $4 million option triggered by Santos, you got to think some random dude in Greece or wherever goes, this was the guy that was playing with Neymar, and signs him. So I guess the question to you guys, and we'll go around the horn here, are we doing the same thing 12 months from now, Nick?
I mean, I would like to have hope that he plays 60% of the season and this is all wrapped up and converted. Whenever it happens, whether we're doing it next year and we find a permanent home, whether it's just, this year and it's done, this needs to be resolved at some point because we need to get Alvaro Barreal's salary off the books. This loan saga was one of the things that I think caused some hiccups this offseason and kept us from being able to finalize some of these moves that we're going to talk about here in a little bit, some of which still haven't been finalized. But good for Barreal. I think we all knew 2 years ago when we watched him play. It's like, this is a guy that's going to be playing in another club somewhere else. And it doesn't sound like last year really worked out the way anybody involved expected. So fingers crossed that maybe his set piece prowess can, free up Neymar for a nice little
20 goal season. Neymar's going to let that happen.
Yeah, Barreal gets like the random 2-goal, 18 assist rub and winds up with a big sell-on fee somewhere. So
good idea.
Fingers crossed.
Less getting his money off the books and more of us getting that game conversion.
Exactly.
Jeremy, yes or no? Is he back? Or are we dealing with this in 12 months?
I mean, I hope not. But, obviously part of it is he has to be healthy. And he's obviously coming off of an injury. That'll be fun. Him and Neymar both seeing who can be injured the longest. That's battle of the Titans there. But ultimately, I mean, he already has that extension. So we're basically set up to definitely have this same rigmarole. But hopefully, for him, for us, for everybody involved, this loan works out well. He stays healthy. He gets his move, and we can close the door on yet another player that kissed the badge and had wanted out immediately.
Good. Justin, I don't know if you have anything else there to add.
No, vamos. The only thing I would put in there is that I remember after the Inter Miami match, the heartbreaking defeat in the U.S. Open Cup semifinal, I remember Barriel mentioning that for him, this was a dream match for him when he was playing against Messi. So I can't imagine what it's going to feel like to go in training every single day with a guy like Neymar. You got to remember Barriel is a pretty young guy, and he's wanting the best for his career. And to be playing with the likes of Neymar, I got to be pumped for him.
I'll tell you what, I couldn't imagine being a professional at that club and having to deal just kind of like with the circus that Messi brings to Miami and amplified to a, massive level, because that's the culture down there. So
yeah.
Is anybody disappointed that Neymar did not go to Chicago Fire just for the pure hilarity of the entire situation?
Only a 6-month contract, man. He's here this summer. Just watch.
There you go.
Neymar and Berhalter ball would have been like a pair in heaven right there.
Those two would have really got along.
Do you know
gone well.
Do you know how awesome it would have been, the script for that, now that WWE is officially broadcasting MLS matches, to somehow work that in? That would have been pretty awesome.
That would have been a TLC match for those that know.
Well, if there's ever a guy made for taking fake bumps, it's Neymar.
Nice. Couple other players that we still have some question marks on. We'll kind of gloss over this one a little bit. I think you guys spoke about it a lot last week, was Luca Orishano. He has reported reports that he's due a raise, which I think he 100% is. I think on our roster budget tracker on Cincinnati Soccer Talk, I think we had at one point thought he was going to be between 700 to 900,000 this year. So go get that bag, dude. You deserve it.
Again, why was that not ironed out in the contract he literally just signed?
And it's so weird because when you move club to club, I might be way wrong here. I might be so wildly wrong here. But don't you traditionally tear up the old contract and sign a new contract when you move club to club? Am I wrong there? I don't know. I thought that was.
I feel like there's room to make adjustments if need be. I feel like that was kind of a time where some of that could have happened.
Yeah,
that guy happy. And then this is really the one I'm just shocked. I thought this would have been addressed, or we would have heard something more. It's been radio silence. Still no Yuya Kubo down in Clearwater. So guys, do you think this is? I mean, certainly, I think now becoming the most interesting storyline in FC Cincinnati land right now.
Yeah, and I think more importantly is, even if Yuya Kubo comes back, like, where is he on the contract? Like, where is he salary cap wise?
So it's currently 712,000.
Yeah, like that's kind of a decent chunk of change for somebody who's going to wind up being a super sub, especially with some of these guys coming in. So I don't know. Like, I don't know if we're going to see Yuya in an FCC uniform again, but yeah, I mean, I don't know. I keep going back and forth with this. In a season, I know I said it on last week's show, in a season of transition, it helps having a guy who's, along with Nick Hagelin, kind of been the one constant on your roster for, 5 years at this point. But at the same time, with all the turnover and, some of the other players you're trying to bring in, that is a big commitment to, one player who's virtually a super sub. So as much as I would love to see Yuya Kubo, the player, on the roster, I do think it's kind of a big decision that Chris Albright and team are going to have to make. It's like, look, how much do we really want to get into this and sort of rearrange everything we have going on to renegotiate Yuya Kubo's contract?
Dude, you have the people that are like the Jeremy Lances of the world right now pulling out their hair, listening to this podcast, talking about not 700,000 for Yuya. We're paying Sergio $1 million. What the hell?
Yeah. Well, Sergio Santos is, hey, like a MLS playoff, maven, best setup in what the Brandon Vasquez goal. I don't know what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to figure out any sort of word to make
trying to
Sergio
put lipstick on
Santos sound
it ain't
cool,
working.
and it just failed spectacularly. So
Just say Leagues Cup.
there we go.
Sergio Santos looks like
Leagues
a
Cup
golden
dynamo.
goose. Man.
Cool.
Listen,
hair.
I think you gotta look at this though from Kubo's side. I think Kubo's thinking, I can go a lot of places right now and be a starter, a locked in starter, and make this much, if not a little more. Or I could sit here and haggle with a team that doesn't even want to start me. And while I think there is some comfort that he has, and he's been here for a while, his kids have grown up in schools here in America and in Cincinnati, there is that comfort. There is that whole, you kind of get to that age where you don't want to sit there and change things up, and you have family, so you don't want to sit there and kind of blow up their lives every year or so. But I think there does come a point, and he's not getting any younger. If he's going to make that one last move or that one last play to go somewhere where he can kind of be still somewhat of a star, you kind of got to do that now. So I think from his angle, there's a lot of reason to leave.
And there's more culture fits, we'll say, for Kubo and his family, right?
Sure.
Vancouver right now is a hot mess, roster wise, every which way. He could easily negotiate a deal to go into Vancouver, be a day one starter,
right?
Make comparable money, and be in a beautiful city. Queen City,
city with a massive Japanese population.
In Vancouver is just gorgeous. So, I don't know what's going on. These are all speculations because everyone's kind of keeping it hush hush. But for me, if I'm with you, Jeremy, I think what's anchoring him down a little bit is a little bit more. I think he realized where he was in life at some point in Cincinnati, and just his role, his position with the club is very comfortable. So I don't understand why you would make that move, but everybody has their own goal in mind, and maybe it's just not competing here.
I think you're all wrong. I think he saw the Skyline chili coming out of the ice cream section and said, "This is wrong. Yeah. We can't do this. Jenny's only. I'm leaving."
I'm not being represented by a team where some dude puts hot sauce on his ice cream.
Yeah, I'm out.
Yeah. There you go. All right, guys. Well, so that's the people who aren't here or are here but aren't mentally here. Let's talk. We'll come back to the preseason game here shortly, but let's talk about what people are here for in these off-season shows, the new signings or the potential rumors or the new things. Guys, we have two new reports that just came out this past week, some from Laurel, some from their own mother, some from Tom Bogert. FC Cincinnati is rumored to be involved with two new signings. You have U22 center back. I've heard it been pronounced as Gilberto Flores. You have it spelled as Gilberto Flores. I'm a ginger and I have no idea, but he is a 21-year-old Paraguayan center back. And then we have left back / left wing back, 26-year-old Lucas Engel. I don't know how you say it in Dutch, but there you go. From
overpronounce it. That'll
Middlesbrough in the English Championship. So let's go talk about Gilberto Flores. Justin, I know he came from one of the bigger clubs in Paraguay, and Libertad. Spent last year on loan at a middle table club. But what are you thinking about Gilberto?
Yeah, when you turn on the tape, you could just see why Chris and Pat brought him in, or we think he's being brought in. He's a solid frame center back. You can see when he gets the ball, he looks to play an attack. And how many times do we see Ian Murphy or Wazium really kind of push the ball forward in those situations? So I can see why the club really liked him. And what's really interesting to me is last year we had a U22 player down in Broward or Dade County, Florida, that we were kind of looking at. Rumor mill was going at Thomas Avalos, and he kind of has the same kind of character profile as Avalos, right? He's a kind of a broody kind of guy. He's huge in the upper body, is stocky. Hopefully less red cards as him, but I just see him being one of those players that's in a perfect position, a very talented center back. He's got a lot of minutes with the national team. He plays really well with the ball at his feet. And then just having a guy like that playing underneath the likes of Miles Robinson and Matt Miazga, and even a Nick Haglin and Teenage Hidebe, he can learn the different tools that are necessary to compete at this level with the comfort of not having to be a day one starter as a U22. I like the move.
Yeah, no, type of player, and obviously the how you fit him in with the U22 roster spot, I think is he checks the boxes.
But we had a young center back. Why did we have to trade him and go after an unproven commodity?
You're of course talking about Kip Keller, right?
That's it. Exactly what I was talking about.
No, I think for me, you're kind of just looking for long-term projects, and I think the Ian Murphy situation may be more of okay, we have to give him minutes, or at this point we kind of know what he's going to become. Whereas I think you have a little bit more of a leash with Flores a little bit to kind of slowly work him in and get him used to, the MLS style. I wouldn't be surprised if maybe he was loaned to FCC2 for a game here or there just to get some even more minutes under his belt and kind of work up his confidence a little bit. To Jeremy's point, one thing I really liked about it, and I think, Justin, you mentioned this too, when we were on the show last week, we're talking about, we lost Ian Murphy, we lost Awazi, and those were our two best ball movers out of the back, our best passers, the guys that could kind of start the rush from that back line. I look at, from the limited tape we have on Flores, that's something that he, I think, does very well. He's very aggressive at it. He loves to kind of take the ball forward, play it into that sort of central midfield level. So I see him, if he gets minutes, somebody that can kind of work well off of Ovi and Pavel Buka a little bit and try to get them going in a space where they can play the ball forward. So I think for him, he's a good fit on what FCC wants to do out of the traditional 3 center back formation.
I'll bet you $20 he doesn't play for FCC2 right now, and he starts that first Champions League match.
That's fair. Fair, yeah.
I'll bet you a tub of Skyline ice cream.
Absolutely, man. Get him out there.
Show.
Yeah, why not?
I'll come back on the show and eat 3 pints. If that's the case of
then someone will throw
in an hour. In an hour. And throw what's the saltines? Yeah, we'll do that too. That sounds fun. I just think I think we have to get him in now, and I think he's going to play early because can we really rely on Matt and Nick so early?
No.
Alvis, I mean, golly, I think you're going to have to throw this kid in the fire. I hate doing that. Like I've been saying this whole time, U22s are depth. U22s are depth. U22s are depth. Mm-hmm. Not the first month of the year this year.
And that's okay. I mean,
certainly has a lot of, I guess, I don't want to call them center backs, but they certainly have pieces that could play center back right now. So I'm going to be interested to see if they're aggressive with Gilberto early in getting him out on the field.
Jeremy?
No, I'm with you. I think he gets thrown in there.
If you see DeAndre Yedlin playing center back, start panicking.
This kid has a good pedigree, Paraguayan youth national team. He played in the Olympics. He played in all those Olympic qualifiers. There's clearly something there. Fits a profile that Chris Albright likes going after with his U22s. So that's exciting to see. Again, I think if we treat him with kid gloves, when and where we can, I think that's good. I don't know what your guys' expectation is for the season, but 20 games? Is that good, Justin? Do you think less, more?
For Flores?
Yeah.
All comps, I'm going to say...
Oh, that's a good call out.
Something 15 to 20. That's what I would say. Because there's not... Like, there's ridiculous like congestion and pauses because of like the Club World Cup and all that stuff. There's traveling and stuff. So I do think he's going to see the pitch, but it just depends on how far FC Cincinnati goes, and some of the other competitions is when he's going to be really pulled on.
Okay. Well, can't wait to see him. I really wonder if he was quote unquote trialist this past weekend or Lucas Engel was trialist this past weekend. Nick, tell us a little bit about Lucas.
Yeah, obviously coming from Middlesbrough, he had a really good first season in the championship last year. Had a little bit of a pelvic injury for most of the beginning of this season, so he's been a little bit slow out of the gate. I think that's why he's been on the loan market, was just because there's other players that I think have taken his spot. But the first thing that I see when he jumps, off when I'm watching the film on him, he's instantly, I think, the best defending left wing back we've had since Ronald Monterita. And to your point, Brian, I'm not saying he's a good defensive left wing back. I'm just saying he's the best defensive wing back that we've had on that left side.
No, I think he said greatest ever is what
in quite some time. Borough fans don't at me on that one, but he is very good in the attack as well, but a little bit different than Orejano or Assad were last year. We noticed those two players really like having the ball at their feet. They really like dribbling. They really like trying to create space for themselves. Engel's a little bit different. He's more of a progressive passer. He likes to kind of connect with, either the players playing in front of him or the midfield to kind of try to, maze the ball up the field. He's really aggressive at trying to spring players into space, especially when he gets into that attacking third. You will see him play a lot of, let's just call them 50-50 balls into the box, balls that have a really good chance of either being picked up right away by the keeper, kicked away, or in the right situations will spring, a forward in an attacking area. The other thing that stands out, he is aggressive at crossing. He will attempt to cross from anywhere, however much space he has. And that's something I don't think FCC has had in a while, at least, not since maybe, Barrial's first couple of, forays into the full-time wingback starter. And it's kind of a way FCC hasn't really played in a few years. So I'm going to be interested to see, especially when you have a good target man like Kevin Denke up there, if they're aggressive at just having him sort of fling the ball into the box and see maybe if he can get one of those target guys, or, even somebody like Lucho, Acosta, or Dado Valenzuela that plays a little bit back, get the ball at their feet a little bit better, as opposed to trying to build it from the outside in.
Let's put a little context to that crossing metric that you were talking about. 2 years ago, Alvaro Barrial threw in 200 crosses. I don't think Lucas Engel is going to be half that, but even if he is half that, it's still wildly better than what we saw out of that position.
Yeah, how many? I mean, obviously he had a all MLS season, right?
Yeah.
But how many of those were the low drive, kind of at the player's feet, kind of the chaos in the box?
I think to the point, though, is where the passes are going to come from. When you're looking at just his stats, and we're looking at metrics that we can try to find out there to prove out points. Unfortunately, the service that we used to use is now $7,000. Thank you very much, capitalism. No, you see on the passing charts with Yamil Assad and Alvaro Barrial. I have Diego Palacios, Max Arston all up here, and comparing these guys who are very good MLS players, it's almost an inverse of where the passing stats lie for Engel. So where Alvaro Barrial was getting things into the the attacking third and the penalty box. Those are heavy stats for Barrial. That's the opposite for Engel. His are coming in a little deeper. So I'm very interested to see how his passes set up Kevin Denke versus maybe going all the way to the end line and cutting the ball back, which you might have seen from Assad or with Alvaro Barrial, who's more, I look at as a left back compared to Lucho Orejano.
Yeah.
By the way, Nick, I think John Nelson is going to hop in your DMs.
Oh my God!
Let you know about defensive prowess. Okay,
man.
John Nelson never got
Screwed up.
never got burnt.
I think you're talking about MLS Cup champion.
Exactly.
Nelson, too.
Put some respect on that
Yeah.
name. Allow
Funny story. He's like one of the very few former FC Cincinnati players I still keep in touch with. He's super nice guy.
Yeah,
we thought of him very well with this show, and he was always
Absolutely.
very kind to us.
He's
so
an
very
Ohio guy, isn't he?
Yes, I think
Mhm.
so. Cleveland, is that right? I could be
Sure.
wrong. All right, guys, what's your expectation for Lucas this year? Is it heavy crosses? Is it building out better? Or we're looking at the rest of the roster and seeing there's a lot of freaking question marks with our offensive third. Is this a guy that we said, hey, we're bringing him in on loan for a year so we can lock this back down? What are your guys' outlook for, what do you quantify as success for Lucas?
Warm body, not injured.
Yeah.
It's just you have so many question marks at that position in particular. So, like, Kubo has been known to drift out in the left wing back, and you have Lucho or Shano played the majority of last year at the left wing back position. There's so much uncertainty. If we're going to go roll out the exact same formation as last year, it's like it's really hard to see where Lucas Engel, without seeing his ability up close and personal, to how he's really going to get in there and make a mix, right? I think you just don't get in that situation that you got in last year where you had 3 right backs and you had no left backs. You need to figure that out. And you have your full-time left back playing for it. So you can't be in that position. So at least we're learning, adapting, evolving.
Okay, not to beat a dead horse, then I'm gonna throw this question to Jeremy here. Isn't
Sweet.
it a little freaking ridiculous how we let Yamil Assad walk away? And I mean, yeah, we don't know how much Lucas his contract's getting covered by Middlesbrough, but like this dude's on a $600,000 contract. Isn't that ridiculous to you? It's ridiculous to me. Well, we could just brought back Yamil Assad on $300,000 or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, it would be interesting to see what the split is on who's ponying up what.
I mean, he's going to be a senior spot.
Sure.
So are we really like? I mean, this is kind of BS. You had a great vibes guy,
Yeah,
and now we're bringing in some random Dutch dude. Is that?
But-
whatever?
Why did Assad even get on the radar with FC Cincinnati? How did he get there?
Sunday
Who
league.
maybe
buddy with-
said, I know a guy looking for a club. Possibly
I think
a
it's
captain who's looking to head
Man.
to the exit. So
Man, we
future
really are
Estudiantes legend.
We are kicking Lucho to the curb. I listened to your show last week, and you guys were ruthless. Let's get rid of him.
I'm just saying
Yeah.
what he wants us to say or he wants to have happen, I guess. So
Yeah.
listen, I have no smart, intelligent, thoughtful things to say about this loan signing. I have just concocted a conspiracy theory, though, where the whole reason for him okaying this deal is because he hung out with Aiden Morris and just hated that guy so much that he was like, I want out of here. And what's the club that this guy played for in the U.S.? Yeah, whoever their rival is, I will go play for them because I hate this dude. This guy sucks so much.
So funny.
There you go. Yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
Because, by the way, Aiden
Morris.
Morris definitely seems like a guy that probably brings that kind of vibe where you're like, wow, I hate this dude.
Oh my God. Two top 10 moments of Cincinnati Soccer Talk happening on this episode. I love it. All right, guys, real quick. We had a friendly this past weekend. We're going to win the MLS Cup 1-0 win over powerhouse team Montreal. Kevin Denke started. No Sergio Santos. Justin, you know all these young guys. Did we learn anything this week?
We learned that Trilla forever.
Shirilla?
Both of them.
Both?
Yeah.
Both of them.
That was,
Yeah,
by the way,
that-
the whitest dabbing I've ever seen. happen.
Oh, dude, I can go for days. No, I think that you don't learn anything in these games. You just know, who took the off season seriously. That's about all you can learn from these games. Everyone, you're completely disjointed. You're not on the same page. You're trying out all sorts of weird lineups. So you're just trying to see who's, staying confident with the ball. Was there injuries or knocks that kind of at the tail end of last year? Are they getting those fixed up? Are they getting clean? I think that everything seemed pretty measured. I again, and I think I speak for all fans, would love to be able to watch these matches.
That'd be neat. How about
that?
That would be a
Is that
sight.
You are right though, in that at the beginning of preseason training, the little videos and photos we get outside of going, hey, can I decipher who that trialist is over in the corner? There is that whole thing of like, hey, who showed up fat? Who did not take care of themselves over the winter?
Who did the
who ate too many Christmas trees from Little Debbie?
Yeah,
and is showing up with a few too many LBs going on there.
Who Ronaldo did? That's
Elvis Powell in the corner with the Skyline graders.
Yeah,
he put the hot sauce on and like it though.
Sergio Santos didn't play, so I don't know if we can pull anything out of there. I'm interested to see what happens. I think Thursday they play the Houston Dynamo. Maybe we get some video of that. I heard that's a possibility. So,
Houston?
I think so, right?
No.
Oh no. Which
no
is the
possibility?
There's
it's
two.
The last two games.
Last two. My apologies.
It's a possibility. Again, these are weird dynamics. Both clubs have to agree to it. So that's always ponderous. And then I think it's something the MLS has some say in it in the end. But it's completely up in the air. Clubs don't even know. They're not duping people. There's just it's a mess. And this is something from the past that needs to die immediately. When we're you look at the attendance numbers and the viewership ratings of MLS, getting some of the preseason going and starting some of that Apple TV content would be fantastic. There's plenty to talk about this time of year. And when's the last time anybody's logged into Apple TV to check out the content? Right? Since probably the MLS Cup. So this is
For All Mankind's a great show, bud.
Well,
I just binged all of Shrinking. Yeah. It's one of the greatest shows I've ever watched.
Severance, you're wrong, Justin. You're wrong.
I'm always wrong.
I did have to double check the other day if my login that is owned actually by my former employer is still active, and it is. So thanks for the free stuff.
I got my renewal this past week for the $79.99. So that was exciting to see.
Did you use our promo code?
Probably on my account. I don't know. It just is it was automatic. It was automatic. I'm just saying it was automatic. No, we're not going to get the extra 14 cents for that. Damn it. All right, guys. The only thing I will say that I learned from this past weekend's game is that Corey Baird is a preseason all-star, according to Carter Chapley, and he will always be the preseason all-star. All right, we're going to jump down. We're going to jump over the salary cap situation. We have a couple minutes here. Justin, I'm going to kind of turn this over to you for the other news of FC Cincinnati. But before we do that, we are going to talk about another one of our great sponsors, Beyond Exercise. Beyond Exercise is a local physical therapy and fitness business that helps people stay active and injury-free. In fact, they help some of our local MLS Next, and FC Cincinnati Academy players with their health and performance needs. Check out their suite of services at GoBeyondExercise.com, GoBeyondExercise.com. Justin, take it away with our other news.
Yeah, so for anybody that's watching it live or replay, there's a ticker tape that is showing all this information, but I'm just going to kind of go through this rapid fire. Coach, the one and only Coach Brad Gall is going to be on I-80 Sports on Thursday night to give a preview of FC Cincinnati. So on social media, YouTube, wherever you go, check out I-80 Sports and see what Coach thinks about FC Cincinnati's preseason. Check out the CST interview with Before Lancer. That was fantastic. I really appreciate Jake for coming on with me. That was a fun discussion. Talked about how he was able to build a YouTube channel of 1.5 million subscribers, starting off in his bedroom at his parents' house in Cincinnati. So really cool guy. I really appreciate him coming on with us. As we mentioned, the FCC's second preseason match against the Houston Dynamo will not be streamed, but you can follow along on FCC's website. Also in the news, U.S. Open Cup leak from the Phoenix Rising is that there will be 16 MLS clubs participating and 10 MLS Next clubs participating in the 2025 edition of the Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup. Also, huge, exciting news in the Queen City. Stadium renovation, the new updated grounds, the multi-use, multi-purpose project. You've probably seen the renderings of it. It looks gorgeous right outside of TQL Stadium. It's got restaurants, it's got hotel, it's just a big plaza concourse right outside the stadium. It looks like the state of Ohio has graced FC Cincinnati with a tax cut that will help build that. So
Credit,
tax credit, okay, cut credit, you know. So somebody with numbers, they can figure that
Well,
out.
I will say this: when I read that story in the Cincinnati Business Courier, that there's a couple things that caught my mind. One is they're going to be redoing the north entrance of TQL Stadium because, of course, they're going to be building stadiums over there. But that could be a lot better managed, I guess you could say, a lot more prominent. So I'm excited to see that. And then they kept hinting at renovated concourse space. And I don't know if that's outside. I don't know if that's inside, but by golly, please add me some more bathrooms. Sorry, I had to go on my high horse there.
I think I saw that when they first announced this project. I think it's going to be like outside patio areas. So you can go inside the stadium and just kind of sit out there overlooking the plaza, as it were. I really think
take a piss off that patio. That'll work.
Dude,
exactly.
I tell you what, when they added one freaking urinal to the bathrooms this past year, it was freaking amazing. Need 2 more.
And then finally, FCC 2's schedule just was released today. It looks like the Orange and Blue are going to build off of their second place finish from last year. Check it out. A lot of awesome matches. Most of the matches are offset on Sunday afternoon, so it's a great time to go out with family and friends. Tickets are free for now, I think. 500 in attendance. Just get on to the app, get the ticket as quick as possible, and you're in. So check that out this year. And then also Apple TV, as Brian mentioned, is moving their MLS coverage into WWE's production studios. So that should be interesting. And as we alluded to before, I really hope that there is some WWE themes and some kind of partnership between the two. That would be fantastic.
Creatine. There'll be a lot of creatine just laying around. Vats of creatine.
Exactly. I think you're probably gonna have a lot of FCC fans want to see like Weeby get thrown through a desk or something like that. So we'll see how that goes.
I mean, FC Cincinnati has one of the, no offense, guys, but I think we have one of the most lame intros in Major League Soccer. I think we need to work with the WWE and maybe forget this whole ball walkout thing and just get some sort of like ridiculous intro. And, maybe build a ramp down onto the field, kind of like
home team gets lowered in from the ceiling.
Yeah,
I think there's ways of doing it. Come on, let's go WWE. Work on it. All right, guys. We've been doing final thoughts. We're going to go quickly through this. I guess my final thought was a question that I loved from Brian's take last week. Center back, left wing back seem to have been dealt with. What is your one laundry list move left, Nick?
I think if you can, maybe get a young striker similar to Kevin Denke. Just because that way you don't have to worry about changing your playing style if you needed to sub him off for, just to get some rest, or if you need to give him a day off. As much as I love Baird and Santos, completely different types of players. I think if there's a young person you can take a flyer on or a cheap veteran, you go for it.
Awesome. Thanks for joining us, man. Justin?
Yeah, this might be a record, but for a third consecutive season, I'm going to have to say a backup 10 for God's sakes. Like Lucho, just wrap him in bubble wrap, because once he's off the pitch, it just goes completely stagnant. I would like to see, particularly with the situation that's happened now this offseason, just again, we've talked about it 1,000 times. It doesn't have to be Lucho-esque. It just has to be a competent 10. We've had several players play that position, and it is too big for them, or they're just completely out of position that they're not comfortable. So we need to identify somebody that is, on a cheap, somebody who has experience, and get them in and get the ball at their feet when Lucho is subbed off the 2 times.
Awesome. Thanks for joining us, man. Jeremy.
Yeah, I would kind of echo the another striker option, just to have that other option up there. But since that was already taken, I'm not sure. It's not really a transfer, but we had Pinto, Gato. We had these guys that came in and were part of both teams, and were often backfill to that starting that 18 for match day, that played on the 2 team as well. Who's going to fill those roles? Who are going to be those younger guys from the 2 team, or that we are still bringing in, that are going to be there? And as we saw last year, sometimes those guys get more minutes than you would expect, and you have a lot of those guys that, like a Pinto, that was often one of those guys that was brought in late to ice matches. So who fills those shoes?
It's going to be interesting with those FCC 2 players. Now there's not the stupid rules of you only can bring them up 4 times, they can whatever play. You only can call them up 4 times if they don't play. I think there's 6 appearances now that they can be called up. So maybe that gives us a little more flexibility. But I think it's a great point. Our depth is very questionable at the moment. A lot of unproven depth there.
Are we going to call that the Wilfred Nancy rule?
Yeah. I think they changed it a little bit there, I think, at the end to allow them to get a keeper called up. I guess on mine, I kind of want to see a number 8. I'm a little scared with Yuya Kubo and not being here. So I think while we did Tal Brian Nuga, I think that's a great move. I think he's a 6, and I would like to see us go out and try to bring some more midfield help. Maybe even somebody who can push Pavel Buka. We'll see. All right, guys, this is my last show broadcast live here on a Monday night. Very excited to be here for you guys. My last time. I'm going to rip down these curtains. No, I'm joking. Actually, my wife is so excited to get you can't see, but how much equipment I have behind here. So very excited to be here. Very blessed to be part of this great group. Please join us Saturday at Grainworks, my favorite event of the year. We did all those World Cup events there with Justin's leadership a couple years ago. Definitely a great opportunity. I think we're going to be rotating a whole cast of hosts there. We'll have an FCC guest. No Skyline Chili ice cream, but a lot of good beer, a lot of good food, a lot of good memories. And we will see you guys Saturday. Have a good one.